This week on Charger Bulletin News, the university sees a rise in COVID-19 cases. Voting for USGA Class Officer is now open, and the second presidential debate is canceled. All of this and more on Charger Bulletin News. Hello and welcome to Charger Bulletin News. I'm Neva Bostic, and as you can see, we're not in our typical studio setting. COVID-19 has caused us to find a new way to bring you the news. So, for the time being, Charger Bulletin will be coming to you virtually. Let's see what's new for Chargers this week.
On October 6th, the University of New Haven saw its first big spike in COVID cases. Rumors have spread that the spike in cases is due to an off-campus party that happened over the weekend. As of Tuesday, October 13th, the COVID-19 dashboard states that there are 124 active cases of the virus. We realize that this is a drastic increase from last week, so let's break it down. The current number of positive cases is 124. The number of people in quarantine is 575. 421 people are staying on campus, with 154 staying off campus. The number of people on campus includes residential students quarantining in Winchester Hall that do not need to move into isolation housing. Lastly, the number of students in isolation is 124. The number of students isolating on campus is 76, and the number isolating off campus is 48. The number of isolation beds available is 39. Please note that the isolation number only includes residential students who decided to stay in university-sponsored isolation housing. Due to the rapid increase of cases, the university has adopted a color-coded system to determine the campus alert level, green being low risk, orange being moderate risk, and red being high risk. Currently, the university stands at the orange moderate risk level. This means that new cases are increasing and may continue to do so for the next few days. The COVID-19 task force reminds all students, faculty, and staff to wear a mask, wash hands often, and maintain social distancing while on campus.
Residents of Winchester Hall were forced to enter a 14-day mandatory quarantine. The quarantine was put in place due to the potential exposure of individuals who tested positive for COVID-19. In an interview with Channel 8, Summer McGee, member of the COVID task force, stated,
"We do think that there were some groups of students that gathered against our COVID policies without masks and closer than 6 feet apart. We are taking each one of these instances very seriously to make sure that everyone is held responsible."
Students were required to register for COVID-19 testing on October 12th. 5 days into their quarantine. Even with a negative test result, students must finish the quarantine period. Winchester residents will be listed as restricted and co-verified until the quarantine is lifted on October 20th.
Voting for USGA Class Officers is now open. Here are the candidates running for the class of 2022. Sanduni Mahandaramge is running for president, and Drew Becker is running for vice president. The candidates for the class of 2024 include Jennifer Tusi, running for president, Stephen Leclerc, also running for president, Gabriela Garcia Perez, running for vice president, Sadara Funches, running for executive assistant, and Cassandra Napoli, running for sergeant at arms. Voting is now live and will be open until Friday at 11:45 a.m.
Let's check in on Emily to see what's new in entertainment.
Thanks, Neva. The entertainment world is in a bit of a standstill, but let's see what was recently announced. Fans will have to wait a little bit longer to see their favorite stars take the stage. The Broadway shutdown has been extended to May 2021. Shows such as MJ and The Music Man had already planned to open in the spring will have to make more adjustments as the pandemic continues to cause delays. Many Broadway shows are providing refunds and exchanges to fans during this time. And Among Us is a new online game that is popular with Generation Z. It acts as a modern version of Clue where players have to figure out who the imposter is. Crewmates also have to complete tasks they are given. Meanwhile, the imposter's goal is to eliminate the crewmates. The creators initially announced a sequel of the game back in August. However, they decided to cancel the sequel to make improvements on the original version. And Regal Cinemas is temporarily closing down 536 locations across the United States. The decision was made due to more movies being pushed back because of COVID-19. The announcement from the movie chain came after the decision to push back the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, to 2021. Many other movies, such as Fast 9 and Dune, have now also been pushed back to 2021. That's all we have for entertainment this week. Joe, how are the Chargers handling recent events?
Thanks, Emily. I spoke with Dan Rude, the Associate Director of Athletics, on what the spike in COVID cases means for our athletes. As of right now, athletics is going to take a 2-week hiatus from both their strength and conditioning and their normal practice schedules. After the 2 weeks, athletics is going to speak with Summer McGee and the COVID task force on what's the safest return to play for both our athletes and our coaches. As of right now, all we can do is wait and hope that the cases begin to decrease on campus. And until then, our athletes are going to be hanging on. That's all we have for sports this week. Back to you, Neva.
Thanks, Joe. Let's hope that Charger sports are able to return soon.
Hispanic Heritage Month is celebrated to mark the Independence Days of several Latin American countries. Many events, such as the annual kickoff barbecue, have been canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions. The Latin American Student Association, or LASA, have been hosting virtual events bi-weekly to honor their heritage. LASA's mission statement is uniting all that is different. In an interview with LASA, Sergeant-at-Arms Erica Mangiore states, "We try to help those in our community by bringing everyone together and making them feel wanted and loved, especially freshmen where this is an entirely new experience for them, and on top of that, being even more secluded due to COVID conditions."
This past Friday, the Commission on Presidential Debates announced that the second presidential debate has been canceled. Due to President Trump's recent diagnosis of COVID-19, the event was supposed to be held virtually. However, he declined to do the debate in a virtual format. If all goes as planned, there will be one final debate on October 22nd, 1.5 weeks before the next presidential election. Well, that's all the time we have left for this week. Be sure to check out the next online edition of Charger Bulletin that publishes every other Monday on chargerbulletin.com. And stay up to date by following us on social media at Charger Bulletin. Thanks for tuning in, and from all of us at Charger Bulletin, stay safe, and we'll see you next week.